All right, Nick, let's talk about the Oklahoma Sooners. Up and down season for the Sooners. I'd say probably not their best, but when you're not having the best season so far, what do you get to do? Get to look towards the future. And it looks like the coach Brent Venables has his eye on someone that potentially he had his eye even on last year as well. A new offensive coordinator that could potentially turn everything around for this Sooners team. We'll get to that in just a second, but first, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, Oklahoma Sooners and head coach Brent Venables in the market for a new offensive coordinator, and the guy that they are reportedly targeting is someone that they have targeted before. Reportedly, this is the guy they wanted before Luttrell. This is the guy that Venables has always wanted to be his guy, but it's seeming like maybe this time around things will be a little bit different. Let's get into the article and talk more about it on the other side. This is from over on SI.com. It says Oklahoma still has 2 regular season games left on the schedule, but with the college football timeframe today, Brent Venables already has to be looking toward the future, especially with a big hire to make. During his weekly press conference on Tuesday, Venables got several direct questions about where he stands on hiring OU's next offensive coordinator and whether all the rumors and speculation about Dan Mullen are true. Venables was specifically asked about Mullen during Tuesday's presser, and it sounded as if Mullen is not only a target for Venables now, but was also before he promoted Luttrell from offensive analyst to offensive coordinator last year. He says, "I'm not going to comment about the details of the search," Venables said. "I reached out to him a year or so ago." And that goes on to make it seem as if this is a guy that Brent Venables wanted. He wanted him not only now, but he wanted him a year or so to go. Seems like they're possibly in talks again for him to be the next offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but before we get to you, Sooners fans, in the comment section below, we're talking about the future of this team, talking about the offensive coordinator position. Who do you want to see as an option? Nothing's set in stone. We're saying Mullen is likely a guy that is high on that list, but it's not a guarantee. Do you think he is the man for the job, or do you think there's someone else better out there? Let us know what your thoughts are for who you want to be the next offensive coordinator for the Sooners in the comment section below. But Nick, nonetheless, what do you think about the prospect of Dan Mullen?
So I love it, right? This is a guy who's had success in the SEC in a number of locations. He's not perfect, obviously so, but he's done a great job in developing quarterbacks. He's gotten the best out of some of the best quarterbacks in SEC history. He does a great job with zone read concepts, with spread offense, and also some more standard stuff as well. He's just a great offensive mind, veteran coach, sort of a no-nonsense-ish kind of guy, right? He's not a guy that's going to be too soft on the players, but he also understands recruiting. He's just a good fit, just a good football coach, not a good head football coach, right? He's just a good coordinator. And look, that's really what happens a lot of times. There are a lot of guys that are great coordinators, but not great head football coaches. And I think Mullen falls into that bucket right there. And I think if Oklahoma and all signs are indicating that they are going to go after him, if they're able to bring Mullen to the fold, I think it's exactly what they need. Because if you look at their stats right now, how everything is structured, they were just a terrible, they are the terrible offense in the SEC, dead last in total yards per game. Defensively, though, they're in the middle of the pack. And that's actually, to me, a little bit of a mirage because as anyone who understands football and watches it for a long time, if your offense is struggling, that means your defense is on the field all the time. You're playing with short fields. It's really, really hard to play defense. You eventually wear down, right? Everyone understands the more snaps an offense against a defense, eventually they wear down, whether it's in a game or a season in its entirety. And right now, this Oklahoma offense, as bad as it's done, has put their defense in bad situations. But the Oklahoma defense has hung in there a little bit, right? Middle of the road in the SEC. So I think Venables and what he's recruited and developed on that side of the ball is solid enough. They just need the offense to, not be god awful terrible. And Mullen's a guy, as an offensive coordinator, as an offensive coach, has done a great job at every step along his career, taking offenses, really working with the quarterbacks, and bringing out the best of the talent they can bring. And I think that's exactly what they need. They need a talent maximizer. They don't need some funky X's and O's guys. They don't need some young hotshot that's like, okay, let me try this new scheme. Let me do something funky here. No, you don't need that. You need a guy that can maximize the talent and work at the quarterback position. I think Mullen is the perfect guy to get that done. I'm actually kind of disappointed based on these reports. They didn't get him last offseason. But if they can get it done this year, I think they can put a bright spot on what has been a disappointing year and give the Sooners program much needed momentum heading into 2025.
Yeah, Nick, and I think how the article alludes to that they're already starting to work on this, getting an early jump on things. I think that is super prevalent when you look at everything ahead of the Sooners as far as early signing period is coming up for these new recruits. The transfer portal window opens December 9th. There's a lot at stake here when it comes to the future of this team. So going ahead and getting your offensive coordinator ironed out now, especially a guy who's available, you can go ahead and hire right now. That is so crucial for this Sooners team to be able to build properly for the future. So I don't think any young player or any transfer player as well on the offensive side of the ball, and like you said, how greatly the offense affects the defense, maybe even on the defensive side of the ball, are too sure of whether or not they want to come to Oklahoma without having the proper offense coordinator in place. I think Dan Mullen definitely could be that guy. There are some other names floating out around there, but Mullen, I think personally, is the most enticing one, specifically because how much they wanted him last year as well. I think this is all shaking out to be really great news for the Sooners. I think they probably do go after Mullen, and I think they're going to be able to secure him. I think the signs showing they're going after him again this time means that they have a little bit more insight. It's not, you wouldn't just bang your head against that wall if it's something that probably wasn't going to happen. So I'm excited about that prospect. I want to get them to get somebody in here sooner rather than later, because there's a lot of decision making that's going to come up very, very quickly for this Sooners team. And to help them build for the future, pull this offense out of the gutter, they're going to need to have their offensive coordinator in place first.